Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. We'll get started here probably around 6:33. Give everybody a little bit extra time to get logged in. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. We'll probably get started around 6:33. Give everybody a few minutes to get logged in.
Sounds good.
Hey, Keith.
Hey, Yvonne, how are you?
I'm good. Is 410 going to continue to be our password?
I believe it's going to be the same. It's the same password, same link going forward.
Okay.
Hey, Keith. Hi, Yvonne.
Hey, Rob, what's
Hi.
happening?
Hey, Rob.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Jared, how are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
Doing very well, thank you. Appreciate everybody getting on here. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to get logged in, and then we'll start introductions. Appreciate everybody logging in. It's great to see everybody, even if it's just through our computers.
This is getting all too familiar, isn't it?
This is the new norm.
Right?
It's the new normal.
This is the new normal. So we need to start looking at this. Like when you see people in person, that's going to be odd.
Yeah.
We're not even going to know people's height anymore. Like, wow, I didn't know you were that tall. Well, you never seen me in person, so yeah.
Or we're not going to know what everybody looks like from here down because of masks.
Mm-hmm.
I admit that I have not been buying as many pants as I used to, and most of them have holes in them now, for sure.
You said you admit to what are you admitting to?
Like I don't care about my pants being nice anymore. Like they all got holes in them from doing yard projects. It's like, it doesn't matter.
There's nowhere nice to go.
So is everybody still working from home?
I think there's probably a mix. Like me personally, I've been reporting throughout. I do inventory for a medical facility, so we've been open throughout. But I think it's a mix throughout the community.
Okay. Yeah. So full time, I am a director of operations for a behavioral health program,
Okay.
and we were out for a little bit, but certain medications we can't give through telehealth. Any type of controlled substance cannot be given through telehealth. So those people have to come in to get their medication. So we had to stay open at least 2 days out of the week throughout the pandemic.
Yeah. I see a few more people getting logged in here. We'll get started here in just a couple minutes with introductions. Hey, Christina, how are you?
Good, Keith. How are you?
Doing very well. Good to see you.
You too.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing better than y'all because it's cold in Baltimore right now.
Yeah, it is. Cold and windy.
It is freezing.
Yes, it's very windy.
It was a windy day.
I had the dumb idea to buy that like pink insulation board from Home Depot today and have to strap it to my roof. And let me tell you, I need about 6 straps to make sure it's still broken half on Harford Road, but, but we got it there eventually.
All right, it's 6:34. I think we'll go ahead and get started with introductions, and people can kind of filter in as we're going through our intros. Rob, do you want to start us off?
Sure, Rob Birch with Maryland Bay Construction in the 2700 block of Matthew Street.
All right, Jared.
Yes, my name is Gerard Lewis, and I am the co-owner of Juice Works, 2602 Greenmount Avenue.
I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name, sir.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
Matt.
Hi, Matt Kelly. I am co-owner of Human Being Productions. We are located at 2601 Greenmount Avenue.
Russell. You're on mute still.
Hi, Russell. I'm the treasurer of Harwood Community Association. I live on the 300 block of East 27th Street.
All right, Christina.
Good evening, everyone. Christina Williams, Charles Village Community Benefits District.
Aaron.
Hey guys, Aaron Kaufman with the Central Baltimore Partnership.
Thanks for joining us, Aaron. Simone. Simone, did you want to introduce yourself?
She on mute?
Yes. Hey,
Did you say Simone?
I did.
Oh, hey guys, this is Simone. I'm on the 400 block of Whitridge.
Thanks for joining us,
Yeah.
Simone.
That's Octavia.
Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us. Yvonne.
Hey, I'm Yvonne. I'm on the 300 block of Ilchester Avenue.
They just wanted us to introduce us.
Is it Dalka?
Pardon me?
Sorry, that's our names are Anna and Dan. We're on the 2800 block of Guilford.
I'm just reading what's on the iPad. Sorry. Thanks for joining us. Katrina.
Hi, I'm Katrina Carter with the Neighborhood Design Center.
Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Colleen.
Hi, I'm Colleen Jordan. I'm the new social worker with Pratt Library.
I think we're having a little bit of issues hearing you, Colleen. You're cutting out. Did you want to try again? Yeah, we're not getting anything right now, Colleen. We'll come back to you. Jenny, you're next.
Hey guys, I'm Jenny. I'm sitting upstairs and Keith is in the basement, both at 401 Whitridge, and it's really nice to see everybody.
Kyle?
Hey folks, I'm Kyle. I live at 2619 Guilford, and I am the secretary of this community association, I think, or maybe the vice president, I kind of forget. But I'm happy to serve, and I'm happy to see everybody.
Thanks for joining us, Kyle. Gigi?
Hi, I'm not sure why it says Gigi, but this is Gina Clay from the
Gina.
State's Attorney's Office. I don't know what that is, but it's Gina. So hello.
Thanks for joining us. Alana?
Hi all, I'm Alana. Ken is handling baby bedtime, and we're the 400 block of 28th Street.
Thanks for joining us, Alana. Is it Asia? And that person just left. Next we have Verla Stokes.
Can I say something? Asia Doswell is my partner, and she's my partner for Juice Works. So
Okay.
I don't know, maybe she lost connection or something, but her name is Asia Doswell, and she's the partner for Juice Works at 2602 Greenmount Avenue.
I appreciate that. Chad?
I got unmute as well. Hi, I'm Chad Abrams at 2625 Guilford.
Leslie? Leslie, I think you're still on mute.
Hi everyone, my name is Leslie McLaughlin. I live on the 300 block of East Lorraine. I'm also your Charles Village Benefit District representative for the Harwood Association.
Thanks for joining us. Regina?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sweet. I was having problems earlier today. Hi, Regina T. Boyce. I am your neighbor, first and foremost, in Waverly on Old York Road, and I am your state delegate. I'm sorry I'm off screen. You don't want to see me eating. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. Miller?
Hi, good evening. Miller Roberts, 400 block of Whitridge and CVCA president.
Thanks for joining us, Miller. Is it Fajoy?
It is Phaedra Fissy with the Neighborhood Design Center.
Thank you for joining us. And I do have one iPad, and I'm not sure who that is. So mysterious iPad with no picture. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, that's probably me. This is Tiffany Hauser. I'm on the 2800 block of Guilford. I live with Derek Brown.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. And I saw one last person come in on the phone. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Asia Boswell, co-owner of Juice Works. My apologies, my internet cut out.
Not a problem at all. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I think everybody probably has Zoom down at this point, so we don't really need to go through that. Russell, would you like to give your membership spiel, please?
Sure. So as part of Harwood Community Association membership, it includes a yearly dues of $10 per household. So that's just $10 per household for all. That includes all people that are in that house, and it's a yearly dues. So we would collect it now. You would have all voting privileges for any Harwood Community Association matters for the remainder of the year. And then when January comes around, we'll do another dues call and we'll take dues for the 2021 year. So it really helps us, just with the day-to-day stuff. It helps, and then gives you the ability to vote in matters that are taking place in your community. So you can pay online, and there will be a link in the chat for doing so. You can also just leave your information in my mailbox with a check, or check's probably best if you don't feel comfortable paying online for whatever reason. Yeah, we can send out more information about paying the dues if you still need to do that. Yeah, and then definitely reach out to the treasurer email address if you have any questions about that, and I'll put that in the chat as well.
Cool, thank you. Also along those lines, the Harwood Community Association elections are upcoming. We have 4 elected positions that are all elected annually. And we're always looking for new people to be involved. So if you're interested, start thinking about that. Talk to myself or Miller or Russell or Kyle or any number of people that have served in the past, Yvonne. There are a number of people that have served on board positions in the past. If you have questions about those, we'd be more than happy to answer them. But we're always looking for new people to get involved. So if you're interested, let us know. Next up on the agenda, we've got some election information, but it does not look like Kieran is in. He is finishing up a birthday party. So we're gonna bump that until he gets on. Next up after that, we have Christina Williams with some Charles Village Community Benefits District information. Christina, you wanna take it away?
Yes, so I have quite a bit of information to share, and then also, thankfully, Katrina Carter has joined this evening to give us a little bit more information about our illegal dumping project and alley beautification project. And so I'm just going to go through as much information as I quickly can. And so if you have any additional information, if you have any additional questions, you can feel free to email me. I will put my information in the chat as well. And so quickly, in terms of safety updates, I didn't see anyone from Northern District joining on, so I will give that update. We had One aggravated assault that took place earlier in the month. It was a domestic dispute situation. That person was arrested at the time of the assault. And then we had 2 burglaries. One was of Bull Robinson earlier this month where the ATM was stolen. And then the other was of a vacant property that was just above Harwood's boundaries in the 3000 block of Greenmount Avenue. But the main concern this month has been around larcenies, particularly for the Dollar General located at 25th and Greenmount. It was also a major concern last month. And so in our Safety Advisory Council meeting last month, we identified a game plan to engage with that business. Learned a little bit of information over the last couple of weeks about who is operating their loss prevention, and then that they are already interested in doing a little bit more in terms of engaging with the community, but also improving the way they're doing their hiring, getting more information about programs and assistance. And so we'll continue to follow up with that business. The idea for our organization in terms of safety is that the community has to be more involved. We have this expectation around public safety being mostly about enforcement, when really there are things that we as a community can do to address the spaces in which crime is allowed to function. And so if we as a community can start tackling those matters one-on-one, we may really start to see opportunities for community engagement to improve and for crime to decrease. And so focusing on that Dollar General and that location in particular, because that was also a source last month of an incident as well. In the 2500 block, I think it was another assault that took place in that block. So really trying to focus on that area in particular around public safety, where we're seeing a huge source of incidences. So that's essentially, that's the crime in Harwood that was reported for this past month. I'll have that information available on our website in the next couple of weeks. If there's any information in particular about an incident that you would like further information about, again, I'll put my information in the website, on the chat, and you can follow up with me around that. Also, last week we held a community meeting and elections. And I'm sorry if I sound like I'm shivering. I just got home and did not turn my heat on, and it is kind of cold in here. And so I'm a little cold. I have a blanket on underneath my table right now. I'll do better. So elections, we had a community meeting and our quad elections last month. This is my 3rd quad elections as your director of the benefits district, and was blown away by the participation we received. We received 61 votes, which in the last 2 elections that I've been a part of have probably counted maybe 6 votes. And so was very excited about the outcome of this election. We have 4 new people joining the board, which is very exciting. That information has also been posted to our website and Facebook. And then information about those who have run and who have won can also be found on our website so that you can get to know those individuals a little bit further. Job search, we're about to launch the job search for the Director of Safety. I will be sharing that information on our website and then also on our Facebook page. And we'll be engaging with all of our partners to share that information with their networks as well. The board approved last week, the job description, and so we're going to go ahead and get started on that search. And then there will be a committee that will be formed of community members, board members, businesses to help with that search as well. So it won't just be board members who are deciding, but we'll have a committee that will pull together, also additional partners. We'll have a committee that's pulled together to help review resumes, help with the decision, make the recommendation rather, and then help with some of the onboarding. And then cleanup, we had 2 cleanups this past month, October 10th, October 24th. We had great turnouts for both of them. We partnered with the Maryland Department of the Environment, which was a great partner to work with. They carried 21 pickup trucks and 1 SUV filled up with recycling. So thank you to everyone who brought their recycling out, who held on to it throughout this time. I know there's some uncertainty now about, well, there's no uncertainty. The city has decided not to move forward with curbside recycling at this time. And so hoping to get more information about what we can do to encourage the city to get back to picking up recycling as soon as possible. But excited about that turnout, really thankful to everyone who participated. And then illegal dumping. So during that time, we also, well, actually on the 10th in particular, we had, and on the 24th, we had quite a bit of bulk trash, other illegal dumping items that was collected during that time. And so it just reemphasizes the need for us to be focused a lot on making sure that people are aware that what illegal dumping looks like, that they are aware of the resources that they have available to them, and then that we are working to enforce illegal dumping as a community. And so we launched an illegal dumping campaign last July. We're in our second year of engagement, where we focus on educating folks first and foremost, assuming that no one knows what it means to illegally dump, assuming no one understands that your couch, once you're done with it, doesn't just go in the alley, or that you don't know that you can call the city to have things picked up. And so we sent that information out into everyone's surcharge bill over the last 2 years. We've gone to every community meeting. We've gone to every street festival or fair to make sure that we're spreading that word far and wide. And so now we're in the stage of our campaign where we are hoping to not just to educate folks, but now also to block access to the most egregious hotspots that we've identified. So over the last year, almost 2 years now, we've been collecting data about where our most egregious hotspots are located. And there's a lot of them. So hotspots are identified as spaces where 6 or more items are being collected at any given time. And we have a lot of them throughout the benefits district. And so with that information, we want to come to the community to decide, well, of these hotspots, where do you think we could install some public art to help deter someone from being able to enter this space and dump in this space? And so we partner with the Neighborhood Design Center just to make sure that we were facilitating those conversations effectively with the community, getting the kind of information back that we really need in order to understand what the desires of the community looks like, what public art would look like, what success would look like. And so really excited about this partnership. We've had 2 community meetings thus far, not very well attended, but we've identified additional ways to get in touch with folks, i.e. coming to these meetings and talking about our project. We have a survey that will go live this week. And I attended the socially distant dinner that was last week, the 24th. Oh, same day as the community cleanup, the 24th. And so attended that meeting, handed out some surveys there. During the cleanups, we handed out some surveys. So encouraging folks to participate then. We'll be at the farmer's market on the 21st, handing out surveys and collecting information there. And then also we'll have another Zoom meeting as well. So again, wanted to introduce Katrina Carter because she's been leading this charge on the Neighborhood Design Center front. I think some of you may even be familiar with her and all of the projects that Neighborhood Design Center has actually done in Harwood and with Charles Village. And so she's also available if you have any questions.
Thanks, Christina. I also dropped a link into the chat to the survey that Christina referenced. So if you guys are interested and you have some time to share some feedback with us, I shared a link to the survey about the illegal dumping spots.
Thanks. Did anybody have any questions for either of these ladies? The 2 cleanups did go very well. Thank you for everybody that came out and helped. The first one, we had crews kind of going through the alleys and sweeping up some stuff. Aaron showed up and helped us out as well, which was really great. And you know, I think we got a lot of the big stuff done the first day, and we're able to come back through and pick up more of the recycling and kind of get the little stuff the second time. So I feel like our alleys were looking a lot cleaner after those 2 cleanups. So thanks for all you did, Christina, organizing that and working with the teams to get the recycling guys out. That was really beneficial.
Thanks.
Next up, we have some community resources that have been made available. And before I go into these, I just want to point out that these might not be applicable directly to any of the individuals on these calls, but what I'm hoping is that we can make these resources well known within the communities. And if you see your neighbor, you know, a friend, or you can pass this along and disseminate this amongst your connections, and we can, you know, reach more people that way. The first one we have, 412 Roofing, has a Baltimore Roof Trust is the name of the program. Basically, each year they try to fix somebody's roof free of charge. It's candidates from local neighborhoods whose homes are in dire need of roofing services, is what their website says. So if you know of any neighbors that are struggling financially, especially with COVID and all the financial troubles that people are going through, and you think they might be a good person to nominate, their information is, I believe, linked in the agenda, so you can just click on that link and make your nominees there. Next up, Hopkins Biomedical Engineering internships. This is for high school, I believe, juniors and seniors. It's a 10-week internship summer program. They actually receive a stipend, a $3,000 stipend. It's in the biomedical and public health fields. The application deadline is February 1st, 2021. Like I said, I believe this is for soon-to-be juniors and seniors, and there is some coursework that's required. And that's an over-the-summer internship. It's a 10-week program. You know, they're not able to work any other jobs during that time. But I think it would be a great opportunity to get some hands-on experience in, I mean, Hopkins is a world-renowned group, especially in the biomedical engineering stuff. So that would be a great opportunity for any high school students that you all might know in the area. And it's designated specifically for underprivileged areas and stuff like that. So I think anybody from our area would definitely qualify. Next up, we've got a Red Bull Arts micro grant. And this is a pretty cool program that Red Bull started in Detroit, and they've actually expanded it to 19 cities throughout the United States, and Baltimore was picked to be one of those cities. Basically, they give $2,000 grants to artists to use however they see fit. They just want to try to help artists continue doing the work that they're doing. So it's really no strings attached funding. So if you're an artist or you know an artist that is struggling right now, this is a great grant opportunity. Like I said, it's a monthly, they're awarding 2 every single month, and they ask you to reapply. If you don't get picked one month, go ahead and reapply the next. I know of a couple people in the neighborhood that I've reached out to directly that I know would be interested, that have said that they're working on applications. So if there's other people, please, I think this is a great program. And last one that just came across my desk today, the United Way Neighborhood Grant. They're offering $2,500 to $10,000 to carry out neighborhood-centered projects. Kind of the key points that they're looking for is to build vibrant neighborhood spaces, to build socially connected and active residents, and to build empowered local leaders. This has kind of a quick turnaround time, and that's why I wanted to bring it up here, and maybe we can have some open discussion about ideas that we might have that would fit for this. The application for this needs to be in by 11/24. So we would probably need to move pretty quickly. Did anybody on the call have any ideas for things that they would like to see in the neighborhood that might fit this?
I'd like to chime in. I see that I think everyone's taking it upon themselves to do string lights in the neighborhood. And I know that the folks on Lorraine have done something similar in the alleyway. Would it be possible it's not going to require a lot of money, but maybe for certain alleyways, we can get some funding to have string lights through the alleys to kind of hopefully eliminate illegal dumping and nefarious activities in our alleys. Just something, add more lighting to the back of our houses.
Yeah, no, I love that idea. And actually the next item up here, the JHU Innovation Fund, we had kind of thought about it had already been kicked around, the idea of using that to apply for that. But I think this would also work for that if we wanted. This would be quicker. I think this money would be quicker if we wanted to write it for that. I think that would be a great idea. I like that idea, and I'm all for it. I'll climb up on the ladder and put them up there. You know what I mean?
How much money is it?
Kyle, are you still on the call? Or Megan, do you have the financials? I know you all were very involved with the program.
Yeah, it's not very much money at all. I think we spent less than $1,000. We definitely spent less than $1,000. I think the lights are about a dollar a foot, and in the Lorraine 2600 block alley, there's 300 feet that go east-west, and there is 200 feet that go north-south. So
How much is the grant for?
2,500 to 10K.
Okay. I saw a project in Cleveland once where they, to get rid of dumping, they took the alleys and painted all the fences and had the neighbors involved with that, and took tires and made them also like some sort of additional planting thing that was attached. And it was through Cleveland. I can share pictures if I can find them. But definitely a neighborhood effort to get rid of dumping and change the mindset of the alleyways and people, how they were used.
Allison, you need to connect with Christina. She's working on big projects behind that. And I know you're kind of in the same stratosphere in the work that you do. I think you all would come up with some good ideas.
Who's Christina?
Christina Williams with the Charles
Christina
Village Community
Williams?
Benefit. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, Christina.
Hey, Allison, I'm putting my information in the chat now.
Okay.
Other than the lighting idea, which I think is a great idea, and if we don't come up with any other suggestions, I think we should probably move forward with that. Are there any other ideas for this? Once again, it's build vibrant neighborhood spaces, build socially connected and active residents, and build empowered local leaders.
Man, I think the mural that you guys have in your block, Keith, is amazing, and I'd love to see. We have Katie and Jesse, who are like, I think world famous muralists that live in the vicinity. I think there's probably also some great artists that are nearby. So I'd love to see some more alley mural or end of block murals, I suppose.
Do they live in the district?
There's also the.
Sorry, Russell, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I was thinking about the parks, 26ers Park. I personally don't use those parks that much. The one on Barkley, that might be worth thinking about ways to make those more accessible. And if there's any ideas there, I guess that it just came to mind. I haven't really given it too much thought, but if we were to think outside the alley, because the alleys are kind of falling under the umbrella of some of the other grants, but other open spaces in the neighborhood. Another thought is kind of like the bump out that Suite 27 did. And we don't have any restaurants in Harwood, but it would be interesting if there was some like street space takeover that we could maybe make a parklet, something like that.
We do have a restaurant
Yeah, I
in
was like
Harwood.
there too.
You got
Juices in Harwood.
And
Oh,
bottoms
sorry.
up bagels too.
Yes, yeah. So
and
yeah,
boxing.
perfect examples of getting some taking over some street space if that's feasible.
Yeah, and maybe we can talk more. They're going to speak a little bit more about their space, and maybe we can see if that's something they're interested in looking at when we get to them on the agenda. There is one last funding stream that Miller was going to talk a little bit about, which is the JHU Innovation Fund. And like some of these, I guess the ideas that we're coming up with, like, for example, the 26ers Park, that might be something that we could use the Innovation Fund or try to tap into the Innovation Fund for. Miller, did you want to tell us a little bit about the meeting that you went to for that?
Yeah, did you want to do the social worker before me, or are you just trying to tie these two in case she has to go? I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, I completely skipped you, Colleen. These kind of tied together. Colleen, are you able to go after this?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
No,
Thank you.
no problem. So I'm not trying to be an expert on this fund. Keith asked me just to talk about it because I attended the information session. And I'll just share real quick the link for the information. And I will bring this up if I can share my screen here. So JHU released information that they have an innovation fund that will span 4 years and be a total of $6 million. And the idea is that they are making grants available in their initial announcement in the amounts of $50,000 to $250,000 to support a reduction in violent crime in Baltimore. And so they're looking for innovative ways supporting existing activities and systems, and just really for the citizens to give their idea of how we can resolve some of the crime that we see in the city. I think that the important thing to note here is that they had these sessions to hear from the community about what they thought, to give some parameters and ideas about what the programs could be. These weren't an opportunity for JHU to say, this is how we're going to roll with this. They very much are still developing, and you'll see in the timeline that they are going to release the RFP next month and make some announcements in January. But even by their own verbiage, I think that there will probably be some additional announcements, because I think that there are a lot of things that, a lot of suggestions that people made about how they should do this. And I think it's going to take a couple of rounds to really roll this out fully, given just the amount of money that they're doing. So I think that from what I heard, I don't know that there are any limitations on who can I should say what the money could be used for. And I think there's some general thoughts about like collaboration and community input that they definitely want to see. But I think, we can start thinking of some things, but we'll really need to take a look when the RFP comes out, because they're still deciding exactly how all this should be.
With that in mind, I think it would be a really good idea to use the United Way neighborhood grant to try for the lights. So I think we probably need to do some work around figuring out exactly how many alleys we have and how many need lights and stuff like that, and exactly what the dollar amount is. Is anybody on the call particularly interested in helping out with that? Kind of helping with that project? Christina, yeah? Russell,
I
yeah?
would like to help with it so I can do an alley analysis too as a part of our illegal dumping campaign. So I think I can help with maybe collecting some of that data along with you guys.
Yeah, and I was really interested in helping with that, Christina. I just haven't been able to get to those meetings. So my interest is still there, and I'm happy to jump in on that effort.
I would gladly donate to that effort financially.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. And one other thing I wanted to know before we let Colleen talk for a little bit, we were talking a little bit about different murals and things like that. I've been working with a couple different artists in the neighborhood who have expressed interest in putting up murals, and we were basically focusing on the corner of Barclay and 25th Street. It's got the Welcome to Harwood sign there, and that wall is wide open. We thought it would be great for a mural. Unfortunately, the owner wasn't interested. And through this process, we've been kind of talking. I think we're going to walk through the neighborhood and kind of identify all of the walls that we think might be good for murals, and contact all of the owners and see if they would be interested, and then kind of pick and choose from there versus asking specific ones. Kind of cast a wider net and see who would be agreeable to that. I really like the murals and different things like that, and we can work with, there's a lot of artists in the neighborhood that want to be involved. So I'm excited about that.
Well, JuiceWorks building is available. So if you come and you can see somewhere where you can put a mural on JuiceWorks, our building is available.
Perfect. All right.
Chime in with one more suggestion for the neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would it be possible to consider maybe beautifying the tree boxes in front of people's homes, as far as adding more vegetation, maybe perennials, things of that nature, building out boxes around the frames just to make the neighborhood look a little bit more welcoming?
Yeah, I mean, I love that idea. Miller, do you have any thoughts on that? I know you do a lot of stuff like that around the neighborhood already.
Yeah, let's talk about how we might be able to help organize that effort and get with the folks who have tree boxes in front of their homes. And maybe in the spring, we can just let everybody know a list of supplies, and then, we can maybe collectively get everything at a better price, and like just do an effort one day. Everybody picks up the little bag and they go and take care of their tree well if they need to do that.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I think it's probably a bad time of year to maybe we revisit that in the spring.
I was thinking as far as asking for funding for the United Way. If we have 2,500 to 10,000, that probably could be included in the proposal. But
I'll keep it in mind if there's extra room in there. Absolutely. We always ask for as much as we can. Next up on the agenda, was there one other comment?
Oh, it's Leslie. I know there's a lot about the cleaning up the alley, and there's that dead space between the fence and the alley itself. And what we've done is we planted a perennial year-round green sheen kind of plant, and it's really does well in the alley, and it can get run over by all the trucks and everything like that. But it does make the alley look a little more beautiful. So I just wanted to chime in, thinking that maybe it could help with some of the aesthetic of the alley as well.
Yeah, I think that's another good call out. I mean, we need to figure out what plants work well in our tree boxes so that we're not, putting stuff in there that just dies. And we can definitely look into that more and figure out what works best. Next up on our agenda, we've got Colleen Jordan. She is a social worker out of the Waverly Library, and I'm really excited about her kind of telling us the different services that she has available. I think this is an awesome program that I wasn't even aware of. So thanks for reaching out, and take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Colleen Jordan. I am the social worker for actually the whole Enoch Pratt Library. And right now we have 6 students from both University of Maryland and Morgan. I believe one of them, Verlia, is also on the call. We just wanted to kind of come out and let you guys know what's available. We're available to help, sorry, I'm used to saying clients, patrons, be connected with benefits and services that they may need throughout the whole city. It might be mental health needs, substance abuse needs, housing and food needs. Or any other types of benefits that they might need, food stamps, medical insurance. We just kind of help connect people and with whatever services they might need or benefit from. We're also able to help patrons or individuals and families kind of process a lot of what's been going on lately, because I know things have been really stressful, and people have just been kind of going through a lot over the last year or so. And so we're here to help with that. We're here with what else? Those are like the bigger ones. We will be having some virtual programming coming up here soon. So if you follow I'll connect, I'll put the links up, but it'll be listed on the library's website, as well as hopefully on the Facebook and social media websites. I can also hand out a flyer I can email to Keith that we have. It just kind of goes over what services we provide, and then also the referral information for the services. So that's kind of the broad overview.
how can people best get in contact with you?
Let me put the phone number and email address in the chat. I think that might be the best way.
Okay.
Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll copy that down into the notes of the meeting so that other people can have that as well. Did anybody have any questions for Colleen? Christina?
Sorry, I don't mean to ask a million things tonight, but Colleen, should people be directed to the library, or how are individuals who are in need of services best connected to you, especially if they are individuals who appear to be homeless?
Yes. So there's a couple different ways that people can be connected to social work services, either through the libraries that are offering sidewalk services. They can literally just, talk to the librarians there. They can also call those locations and talk to someone because in some instances, they know their librarians and they're more comfortable at least getting that introduction through them. They can also call this number that I'm going to put in the chat and email the email address that I'm going to put in the chat in just a minute. And then just for you guys and for whomever might need it, I'll also copy the website directly to the social work services. But that is found on the Pratt website under services, but I'll copy that in the chat in just a second.
Not sure what your answer is going to be, but since the libraries and other public spaces have not been.
I'm sorry, Christina, I don't know if it's my computer or somebody's, but my internet keeps breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, Christina, I think you were frozen on that one.
It's mine. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
I just turned my video off to try to save. It's my connection.
Okay.
But since the public spaces have been closed, we've had a lot of incidences of folks not having restrooms to use. And so not sure what the library in Waverly plan is, or if it's available for people to use the restroom if they appear to be homeless. But it's caused a lot of concerns and challenges with property owners who are left to clean up the mess. I'm just wondering what Enoch Pratt's plan is for reopening, even if it's in that capacity, considering you offer some of those services to folks.
Sure. So right now the library is opening up certain locations by appointment for computer use. And while I know that doesn't directly answer your question, I think that by appointment, people will have access to those computers, but they'll also have access to the bathrooms at the same time. And I know that doesn't necessarily help everyone, but it might help someone just to know that. I don't know or have a really good answer for you about the openings of each of the libraries and branches at this time. I know we're most likely looking at next year, but I don't know right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Were there any other questions for Colleen?
Yes. Colleen, what if I had a resource that would be helpful for the community? How would I get to you all so that you may get people, especially in mental health? Like I said, I am the director of operations for a behavioral health, and we have psychiatric rehabilitation. We have an outpatient mental health clinic, and we also have SUD, substance use disorder, or substance abuse treatment. So I would just like to find a way. Maybe I would take you down and give you a call, just in case someone in the community needs mental. I heard you talk about mental health resources.
Yeah, the mental health resources are huge. So if you can either give me a call or send me an email with the information, I'd love to hear more about it.
Okay.
yeah, and maybe we can find a way to even partner together. And that's really been a huge focus in the last couple of weeks. And so I'm relatively new to the position. And that's been a huge focus since getting started, is trying to partner with as many community partners as possible, so that we have those relationships in the community and we can, help our clients and our individuals as much as possible together.
Okay. So I will get your information from that chat, and I'll
Okay.
reach out to you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions for Colleen? Colleen, we really appreciate you being on, and we appreciate the work that you're doing. I'm sure you're inundated, and it's a tough job. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much for having me. If you guys have any other questions or anything, please give me a call or email me. I am going to jump off. I have a toddler at home, so I have to go do that kind of thing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, before we hop into kind of the neighborhood updates, Kieran is on, and he's going to kind of give us a little bit of an election rundown, what to expect at the polls, how to know your ballot has been counted, all of that fun stuff. Since this election's a little bit different than ones in the past, we thought we'd give a little bit of a primer. Take it away, Kieran.
So first of all, it says my name is Michael Davey. It is not. That would be my boss. I had to use his Zoom account earlier. And so I am Kieran Dowdy, not Michael Davey, who's a wonderful lawyer as well. But my name is Kieran. I live on the 400 block of White Ridge Avenue. Keith asked me to, I gave an election update a couple months ago. And now that we are literally the night before Election Day, Tuesday, just go over a few things related to the election. Both to what you may have done, what you could expect if you haven't done anything, and what to tell your friends and family if they ask you any questions, and some resources. So first of all, if you have not voted yet, well, first of all, voting is really important. I always say this at the beginning of things. It's one of your obligations as a citizen. To vote. You have to pay your taxes, you have to participate in the census, which has now ended, and you get to vote. It's an important right. It's a right that has been modified. It has not been available to all citizens as it should always have been, but it is something that we continue to struggle to protect. And it's something that's really important that you exercise your rights as an American citizen. So the number one thing, if you take anything away from my 5 minutes of fame here, is you should always get a chance to cast a ballot. As long as you vote before 8 p.m. tomorrow night, you should fill out a ballot. That does not mean that that ballot will be counted. That does not mean that ballot will be valid per se, but the standard position that anybody that does anything in elections will tell you, and I'm not an elections lawyer, I'm just a nice citizen who can read law occasionally, is that when in doubt, you should be given a chance to vote. So if somebody says, oh, you can't go vote, or oh, you can't fill this out, you should always ask to take a provisional ballot. So if we get all the way to the end of this and you remember nothing else, please remember that. The default position, certainly in Maryland, is that you should be given a chance to fill out a ballot. If there's a question about the status of your ballot, it will be counted as a provisional ballot, and they will work out whether that ballot should be counted or not later. But you can't cast a ballot, you can't, after the fact, create a ballot that you didn't cast. So if you remember nothing else, remember that. Okay, a few things. First of all, tomorrow is General Election Day, which means if you haven't taken another method of casting your vote, you can go to a voting center. The closest for anyone in Harwood is Barclay School. It is still a voting site for tomorrow. So if nothing else, if you've done nothing else this election cycle, you can walk up to Barclay, you can get in line, you can cast a vote. If you are a registered voter, you are not necessarily required to present ID at the poll as long as your information is on their register. However, it never hurts to bring your ID to the poll in case anybody has a question. If you are not registered to vote, Maryland has same-day registration, which means that if you are at an election center tomorrow and you are not registered to vote, you can vote on site. To register on site the day of the election, you must have a Maryland ID and proof of your residence. Bring a utility bill, bring first-class mail with your name on it, bring anything that shows where you live, but you can register to vote the same day. So that is very important. So if suddenly, after months and months and months of not paying attention to the election, you listen to me tonight and you decide that you want to go vote, good news, you can still go vote. Just be sure you bring your ID and mail that identifies your place of residence in Maryland so that you can vote, okay? If you requested a mail-in ballot, they've switched the names, they're no longer called absentee ballots, they're called mail-in ballots now, but they work the same way. If you've requested a mail-in ballot, you can bring your mail-in ballot to a voting site and cast it. However, you have to do all the same stuff as if you had mailed it in, and I'm going to talk about drop boxes in a second, but you can do all the same things as you would a mail-in ballot and hand it in to an election official tomorrow, and your vote will get counted just like any other mail-in ballot. What you cannot do, capital C, is go trade in your mail-in ballot and cast an in-person ballot. You can't trade and cast a ballot. If you do that, you will be given a provisional ballot, and they will wait to determine whether you mailed in a ballot or not. If you mailed in the ballot, then your provisional ballot goes in the trash, and they'll take your mail-in ballot. So just bear that in mind. So if you've requested a mail-in ballot, your best bet, if you've received your mail-in ballot, which you should have by now, is to fill that ballot out, put it in the envelope, seal it, sign it, and either deliver it to a polling place or deliver it to a drop box. You can drop it in a drop box until 8 p.m. tomorrow. There's a drop box in front of Barclay as well, I believe. There's also one in front of the Art Museum. So if you don't want to wait to hand it over to a judge, slide it in the drop box before 8 p.m. tomorrow, and you'll be set, no problem. But the key thing that I would just take away from that is, if you requested a mail-in ballot, try to use your mail-in ballot. Don't try to, you can't go swap it out for an in-person vote. And it obviously bears repeating, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. Don't vote twice, that is a crime. And you should not do it whatsoever. Just be sure that you either cast your mail-in ballot or you cast a provisional ballot. Like, let's say if you, for some reason, you lost your mail-in ballot, or you forgot your mail-in ballot, or for some reason it did not arrive in time, you can go cast a provisional ballot in person tomorrow. It will be a provisional ballot until they determine that they have not received your mail-in ballot. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that if you are Maryland has no restrictions on felons voting. So if you or somebody you know has previously served a sentence of incarceration or judicial punishment for a felony, it does not preclude you from voting unless you were convicted of buying or selling votes. If you were convicted of buying or selling votes, please call your lawyer. Don't talk to me about it. That's a bigger problem than I'm going to be able to solve in my 5 minutes. But in general, just because you are a returning member of society or a returning individual, you have the right to vote in Maryland. And again, if you haven't been registered, as long as you show up with a state ID and proof of residence in Maryland, you have the right to cast a ballot. You have a right to register and cast your ballot. If you do go vote in person, the lines are not only going to be long, but they're going to look even longer. The State Board of Elections suggests that you try to vote between the hours of 10 and 3 because that's the time that the polls are the least busy. Obviously, people have different work-life schedules, but they will be limiting, the lines will be 6 feet apart, and they will be limiting the number of people in any voting site at any given time. So you can expect longer lines. If you are in line by 8 o'clock tomorrow, I think it's 8 o'clock, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If you are in line at the time that the polls, 8 o'clock, I got a number of thumbs up. If you are in line, you get to vote. It's not like 8 o'clock, the door is shut, you can't vote anymore. If you are in line, you have a right to vote. And they normally send somebody out there and they stop the line. But if you are in line, you have a right to vote. Period, end of story. You may have to wait a very long time, but they will accept your ballot as validly cast, even as long as you are in line by 8 o'clock. Again, if you got a mail-in ballot, just get it in a drop box by 8 o'clock. It will be collected and counted. That's how I did it. I think it's a great way to go. I'm going to share very quickly if you did a mail-in ballot and you want to find out what's going on, I'm sharing in the chat a link. You can look up your name. You just need your name, your address, and your date of birth as it appears in your voter registration. You can see what's going on with your ballot. At this point, the status that you're most interested in is your ballot gets received, which is literally the Board of Elections for Baltimore City has hold of your ballot, and then whether it has been accepted, which means that it has been counted. If your email is on file with the board, they actually send you a nice little email that says, we got your ballot, we counted your ballot. That's what I got. If you haven't gotten that, then you should probably check up on your status. And I would suggest, and this is just a totally nonpartisan suggestion, if for some reason your ballot has not been received by tomorrow, I would go cast a provisional ballot. Because again, they're going to check and see if they got your mail-in ballot, but you can explain to them that you want to cast a provisional ballot to make sure your vote is heard and counted in this election. I have, as usual, talked a little longer and much too fast than I anticipated. But if anybody has any questions, oh, and one other thing, see, there's always more thing, and then I'll take your question, Kyle. If for some reason you run into an issue counting with your vote tomorrow or at any time, you can call the National Election Hotline. It's 866-RVOTE, OURVOTE. They're staffed by people. I'm not a volunteer attorney for them, but they're a very good organization, and they will take complaints and notify individuals if you believe that your right to vote has been interfered with in any way, shape, or form. That means that, in short, that if you run into any problem, if somebody harasses you, intimidates you, attempts to coerce you from voting or not voting, or voting in a certain way, you should call them, because your right to vote is confidential and sacred. Nobody can tell you to take a picture of it and tell them what you voted or anything like that. You might do that because you want to show off that you voted. I don't. But it's the kind of thing that is very important and is certainly on a lot of people's minds this election. If you feel for some reason that your right to vote has been interfered with, don't call me. I'm going to be of no use or help to you, unfortunately. But call them. They know what they're doing, and they will ensure that it's reported and challenged in the appropriate ways.
Kieran, thanks for that extremely detailed rundown. Kyle, did you have a question?
I just had a comment. I am the Barclay polling place captain, which if you guys are going to be voting in person tomorrow, I'll be the captain for Franca for the People campaign. Hope you vote for Franca. Not necessary though. Either way, I will be there all day long. Since you guys all know me, if you have an issue of some kind, feel free to reach out. If it's like a technical legal issue, of course, you can call that hotline. But if it's just like you want to see a friendly face, I will be there 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. So definitely say what's up. And there'll be a lot of Franca people there as well.
Awesome.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, that was extremely detailed, and I know the election is on everybody's mind, so thank you for that extremely detailed rundown, Kieran. Please go out and vote. Let everybody know you still have the ability to go out and vote. As Kieran said, they cannot deny you the right to vote or the ability to vote in Maryland. So please, and make sure you voted, make sure your loved ones have voted. Thanks, Kieran. Yep. Yes, Wilma.
I would like to know that link again to track your voting. I voted, I dropped mine in the box. I tried, but I wasn't able to get in the results.
Sure. So I'm going to give you the great legal secret, which is I Googled it. It's voterservices.elections.maryland.gov. If you go there, or if you just look up like Track My Ballot Maryland on Google.
That was voter services. One more time.
Sure. voterservices.elections.maryland, all spelled out, .gov.
.gov. Okay, I got that.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's a super easy website to use. Just look up the status of my ballot, and you can figure out what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I think we're going to move into the Harwood updates. Really quickly, like Christina said, we had 2 cleanups in October that went very, very well. We did want to announce that we've got one scheduled for November on 11/21. I believe that's the weekend before Thanksgiving. Miller, do you know where the dumpster is going to be located for that?
27th and Boone.
27th and Boone, so over in East Harwood this time. Christina, are we going to be doing recycling the same way we have been for this, or are we going to try and partner with them again?
That's East Harwood, not part of CVCBD.
Gotcha.
Although I can connect Maryland Department of the Environment to Harwood because they were very excited to partner with us, and I'm sure they would want to partner with another community the same way. So I'll make the connection.
Yeah, if you could, I think that would be great. We'll do recycling the same way we've been doing. If you can get it to East Harwood, please do that. If you need some help with that, reach out, and we will have some people going through and picking stuff up. Yeah, so excited about that. Next up, we've got Humankind. Matt Kelly from Humankind is going to give some updates about what they're doing with their area. Matt, take it away.
Hi, yeah, Matt Kelly from Human Being Productions. We are at 2601 Greenmount Avenue, but we also adopted the 1 acre lot adjacent to our building. In the last few months, we've managed to put a fence up, which has actually done like a ton for trash, not just like randomly collecting on our block, which is pretty cool. But we're also still trying to like beautify it and work on it. And really, we're just like kind of slowed up by like being a business trying to exist in a pandemic, and I have a toddler. And so that said, we're in this really fun moment where like there's a bunch of stuff we know we want to do and we totally need help. And I'm really glad that I'm here in this meeting right now, because like seriously, like if anybody knows of anybody who's just like really good at driving a truck, like I have a hookup for free dirt and free mulch that we need right now, and I just need to like hire somebody and rent a truck to like move some stuff around, right? Or just help us kind of like fill in some retaining walls that we've done, or plant some plants that like Miller helped us get. But more or less, like we are on this like kind of forced march to get this space to be a community space that can be utilized for different things. Like I'm looking over at, you know, juice and thinking like if we could get tables in there, it's a place where you guys could like offer dining for your guests. You know, I'm thinking if we can get heating there, it's a place where we can have outside meetings. I want to do all this stuff, and at this point we're just like looking for people who are willing to help, and we can totally like pay you for your time to do it too. But yeah, that's the long and short of it for right now, I guess.
I was on mute. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're really excited about this project. You know, they're trying to create an outdoor space that would have Wi-Fi. So if kids wanted to go there after school and get their homework done, it would be kind of a safe space that's also outdoors that people could use, you know, do movie nights and different things like that. Yes, sir.
No, can people hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir. We're on three-way. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. So are they talking about? Are we talking about the juice space? Because I couldn't get. It kicked me out, and so it's just
You're cutting out. You're breaking up a whole bunch. We're talking about the place across from Juice Works currently. Yeah, your connection's really rough right now. Did anybody have any questions for Matt and what's going on over there? Matt, did you want to put your contact information in the chat so that if people had some time and wanted to help out with that, they could?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put my email address in the thread, and you know, even if it's more so like, you know, somebody like a neighbor of yours who might be like looking for work or something like that. I'm really trying to like get this project going and like hire within the community as much as possible. So so I'll drop my email in the thread, and yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you. Next up, we've got Robert Birch and some East Harwood rejuvenation talk. Rob, take it away.
We're continuing to rejuvenate. So we've got, currently we have 6 properties under renovation, 2 which will be affordable housing units for sale quite possibly as soon as the beginning of the year. We are framing them currently. They're at 2704 and 06 Matthew Street. I welcome anyone to stop by if you're curious to kind of stick your head in and take a peek. And like I said, those will be ready for sale in the early part of 2021. At the same time, we've just begun interior demo at 4 houses on Boone Street that are side by side, 2648 through 2654, which are perpendicular to the 2 houses that are slated for demo, hopefully by the beginning of the year, at the southwest corner of 27th and Boone Street. Let's think. We were really, really fortunate in that, I guess a couple of months ago, I contacted Central Baltimore Partnership to find out if there might be any grant opportunities available. Our costs for these rehabs are pretty high. Many of them are just total gut rehab. So anyway, I fortunately asked my question at the right time, and Central Baltimore Partnership had a proverbial bucket of money that they had to spend. So we were very fortunate to get a part of it to help offset some construction costs on the 4 Boone Street properties. You know, we're really excited about what we're doing. Like I said, welcome anyone to stop by and take a peek. Our office is at 2712 Matthews Street, the Kermit the Frog Green warehouse. Stop in, say hey. That's pretty much it, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Rob, thanks. I wanted to know if we can make that announcement to the community. Do you know what was the dollar amount of that second pot? Well, this newest pot of money.
It was significant. It was $120,000.
And Rob is still being patient as we try to figure out what's happening with the Catalyst grant funds, which was $125,000, because things have just come to a halt in City Hall in that particular area. We submitted everything we did, and we just have not heard back on approval of the amended budget and then their requirements. I mean, it was almost a year ago, Rob, that we sat down and they said we have some additional requirements of the neighborhood in order to get this check, and I've yet to receive the list. No one's received the list. So, you know, we still want to pursue those funds, but they just need to tell us what to do.
Yeah, I mean, the four homeowners that whose facades will be improved through the grants are excited about having the work done, but needless to say, they're simply going to have to hang in there and wait until the city gets its act together.
Yeah, we appreciate your patience, Rob. One thing I did want to ask, are there any job openings or as you expand your work, are you looking for any workers, and what type of work would that be, in case there's some people on the call that know some people that would be able to help out?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you asking. We actually just hired locally a week ago. I'm really proud to say I hired a woman to join our carpentry team. She lives in Charles Village, and today was her first day. And I'm hopeful that there will be more opportunities, both in terms of working on the carpentry team as well as in project management. You know, I'm out, you know, beating the bushes, trying to find business opportunities that will lead to hiring opportunities. You know, at this moment, Keith, we don't have any open positions, but that's subject to change, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I will, you know, I once posted an ad on Harwood Next Door, and it's been a while, and really didn't get much interest. The young lady that we hired to start today was at the right place at the right time. She contacted us. She was contacting general contractors, and she caught me, you know, on a good day, and there was a justifiable need. So there will be more hiring, Keith. It's just like I said, there's not any open positions at this moment. I'm hopeful though that with the once we get rolling with the construction of the mixed use project, on Matthew Street, that we'll be able to line up tenants, and those tenants will undoubtedly have some hiring needs. They'll likely be companies in the construction space, electrical contractors, plumbers that are looking for small warehouse and office space.
So Rob, this is Yvonne. You don't have any availabilities for internships or apprenticeships so that some of the young men in the community would have the opportunity for the experience to work alongside. It may not be monetarily gratified right now, but are those possibilities available?
We do not have any of those opportunities. However, it may be that some of the companies that work with us, like KMT contractors, could have those opportunities. So I'll ask the owner of KMT if he has any internship opportunities. We did, Yvonne, actually have a young guy who had graduated from St. Francis Academy down in Johnston Square join us. It was just for a summer. He did some part-time work for us. He is actually doing what I encourage a lot of young men and women to do that don't necessarily think college is the right thing for them. He's pursuing training as an HVAC mechanic. He's at the North American Trade School studying to be an HVAC mechanic.
So that's an excellent trade.
Vocations are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob, if you could just send us, I'll be sure to send them out on the Harwood Facebook page anytime you have openings. We would just like people to have those opportunities within the neighborhood whenever they make themselves available. So
absolutely,
we'll make sure to send those out if you send them to me, and we can move forward from there. But we appreciate your patience on the funding that's been kind of held up from the city, and we appreciate your work.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks. Thank you.
Yep. Next up, we've got a quick community garden update. We've pulled a lot of the stuff out for the year. All the squash beds are cleared out and have cover crop sowed. We also have a lot of greens. We're hoping to have a lot of greens available for people for Thanksgiving. Also some sweet potatoes. So if you're interested in that, maybe reach out to me and let me know, and I can drop some greens off for you, or come down and give me a hand harvesting, and you can take some home with you. Also wanted to mention the composting is always open and always available. If you are dropping your stuff off in compostable bags, please just go ahead and rip those bags open and dump it in there. You can put the bag in there. I'd prefer if you took it home with you, but yeah, if you could at least open the bag up, that would help out a lot. And that's all I've got for the community garden. Next up, we've got the 26th Street Green. Megan, did you want to give us a quick update on that?
Hi everyone, Megan Ames here. I live at 26th and Guilford, and I'm also the president of the Friends of 26th Street Corridor. So some of you might be familiar with the open space on the 200 block of 26th at Guilford. That is sort of the focus area of our Friends group for the start of we just sort of launched our organization just recently. So we are working with primarily DOT, but a few other city agencies to get that space developed into a sort of parklet type thing. The designs have already been completed, and the city is working with some designers to sort of finalize the actual construction plan. All the details for that project can be found on our website, 26thstreetgreen.org, and I'll put that in the chat once I'm done with my update. So we are hoping to meet with, we are going to meet with DOT in the next few weeks with the hopes of coming up with a MOU that we'll be signing with them for maintenance and sort of programming for the space. So if you're interested in what's going on with that space, I encourage you to go to the website, sign up for our listserv. We have regular meetings and also send out email updates. So it's a great way to get involved. We also are waiting for formal award notification from the Central Baltimore Partnership for a Spruce Up grant that will hopefully help to fund some of the development in that space. And we're currently working with some community members and members of the 26th Street Friends group to develop some sort of some interim space use guidelines to guide how community members engage with the space to make sure that it's a safe and welcoming space for all community members. So if you have any concerns or interests in contributing to any of those components, please visit our website. I'll also put my email in the chat. You can reach out to me. I can connect you with whoever you need to know. And in the coming weeks and months, probably early 2021, we're going to be electing a board of directors. This is a new organization, so we're still sort of getting our structure pulled together. And we're also going to be electing a secretary for the organization. So if you have thoughts on who should serve in those roles, or if you want to serve in those roles, I encourage you to get in touch with me, and I will put my contact information in the chat. Happy to take any questions at this time or chat offline.
Any questions? We appreciate that update, Megan. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks.
Next up, we've got the JuiceWorks team. Gerard, did you want to tell us a little bit more about the projects you all have going there?
Hello, yes. First, I want to say thank you for having me come to the association meeting and speak. I do have Asia Doswell on it with me, and we also are working with Neighborhood Design Center. So we have hello. So we okay. We're working with Katrina and for Joy. So what we had in mind is if you JuiceWorks is in the building on 2602 Greenmount Avenue, and it's only a storefront right now. But if you go in the back of JuiceWorks, it is an amazing space, and you can't really see it from the front, but it is an amazing space, and it's kind of not being used at the time. So when Asia and I saw that, being social workers and being human service workers, what we thought about was what kind of community programs can we put to use for this space. So we started talking. We reached out to Mr. Miller, and Mr. Miller was really the contact person who got us in touch with everybody. The reason that we know about you all, the reason that we know about the design center is because we kind of reached out to Mr. Miller, and Mr. Miller kind of gave us some direction. And he's been real supportive of every effort that we have tried to bring to the Harwood community. So we put out a survey because my idea is that I have an idea of what I want to do with the building, but I really wanted some input from the community. We also have a space back there, a grass area that could be done if we needed more another community garden. We thought about, I heard someone earlier talking about having a space where children could come and use Wi-Fi. That is also an idea of ours, where we will have some Wi-Fi. We'll have some space in the back where if children needed some support for homework or something like that, maybe it could be used for that. I also thought about maybe bringing robotics to the community, yoga to the community. But these are my ideas. And we came up with this survey to kind of see, I know what I would like to see in the community, but I'm not from the community and I do not live in the community. So I kind of wanted to get some input from people who live in the community. What do they want in their community? I feel like if I can get people to buy into it, they will utilize it. The survey has been out for maybe about 3 weeks now, or maybe a little more. We haven't really got a lot of feedback from it. So I asked that we could come to this meeting, get some support from the community association, get some ideas from the community association, like what you know, a lot of you all live in the community. I'm willing to have a day where I can take people to see the space. It is huge. I don't know if anybody has been in the back of that building. One in the building is condemned right now. Not really condemned, but it's it's dilapidated because, you know, the water has damaged the roof. But the owner, JuiceWorks, and the Neighborhood Design Center are looking at ways where we can build it back up and make it a usable space for the community to use. Asia, you want to add anything?
Just thank you all for the opportunity again, and more importantly, I wanted to have for Joy kind of speak about, you know, some of the things that we've discussed in terms of functionality, since they are pretty familiar with Harwood and what they thought would fit into the space that we have. The upstairs, the owner at this time, we've heard some things, is very amenable to Gerard and I, just because of what we've been able to do with the property for the last year, but more importantly, understanding our stake in community as well. So for Joy, if you could just kind of speak on some of the functionality that you all noticed when you came in and did the layout, and just kind of looked at what could be offered to the community, just to try to give them some idea.
Sure. This is Joy with the Neighborhood Design Center. So Jeremy and I and Katrina have been working with JuiceWorks on a feasibility study of what could be done with the site. To date, we have studied the existing structure as well as the outdoor space that Gerard and Aja mentioned, and the dilapidated building in the back. And I think initially we had thought about that we could definitely do a maker space or robotic space in the back building, have an outdoor juice bar, but purely green juices, because I know Gerard and Aja focused a lot on health and wellness. And then maybe using the front space, the first floor of the front space, into either a yoga studio or dance studio or community space. And I know the last time Jeremy and I came out to look at the building, we had looked at the second floor, think of either an art gallery or a community space where we display community works. But I think at this point, Katrina's going to touch on this, is going to touch on this some more. But at this point, we're just talking about, we need community input, community feedback, because ultimately this is going to have to be community driven more so than anything else. Katrina, I'll let it go to you.
Thanks, Bajoy. I just dropped the link to the survey into the chat. As Gerard and Asia and Bajoy said, we've been working together for the past few months to really start to look at what the space could be, but really want to see and hear from all of you what you would like to see in the neighborhood, what kinds of spaces you'd be interested in using that would be available to the public. So we're sharing that survey with you guys today.
I think that what I would like to do, if anybody is interested, you really have to see this space to get the feel. Like, you know, us just talking about it, it is a very large space that's not being used, and it can be used for a numerous of things. So if anybody is interested in coming through, seeing the area, we definitely need your input. You know, I hope everybody takes time out and go fill out the survey to give us some ideas and direction. So, so this can be a real community-driven project. So that is my hope. I will leave my number and my name and number in the chat as well, just in case anybody wants to schedule a day. I'll do multiple days, but I really want the pivotal people of the community come and see in this space.
Gerard, we really appreciate it. One question I did have, what kind of timeline are we looking at here? When are you all hoping to have this up and running? When do we need to have ideas in by?
Okay, what kind of timeline? Team, I'll reach out to my team for this, because we've been working on it for some months, and I didn't think we really did. We have a timeline?
No, we don't. I know at this point we're waiting to get some community feedback and just engage with the community and hear what the community thought would fit best in the space. So I think we're thinking that probably for the next Katrina, correct me if I'm wrong, but probably for most of the remainder of the year, just get community feedback and community input so that in 2021, we start out strong, moving forward with some ideas that have been generated by the community.
So everybody kind of get your thinking caps on. I mean, I would definitely love to see the space. And if anybody else would like to take the tour, I would ask you to reach out and schedule a time to see it. I would love to see the space and kind of get my mental gears going about what we could do back there. I really appreciate you all being so community centered. That's really awesome that you all are willing to do that. So thank you. Did anybody have any other comments or questions for them? All right, I believe last on the agenda, we have Aaron Kaufman with the CBP. Aaron, you got some updates for us?
Sure. I know I'll try to be quick, but I think what I'm very encouraged about during this call is that people are, really putting a lot of thought into the types of community projects that they'd like to see. And one of the roles that CBP plays is trying to make sure that you guys have different tools in order to bring those projects kind of into reality and into fruition. So I kind of feel like I add a little bit to the available neighborhood resources piece. A couple available resources that we have right now through different funding sources are we still have available CRAN grant funds, which are neighborhood-based event grants up to $500. Those are eligible for the Harwood community and 5 other communities that we work with. I know with COVID, that's changed the direction of these types of grants. But just know that if you have community-based ideas, events, and or community-based projects that can either be done, I think the alleyway lighting is a good example, or other types of COVID response types of resource distribution ideas that can be addressed through small grants. That's definitely available. And I just want to, again, reiterate that. I know I reiterated at a lot of different meetings. The second piece that I want to reiterate, again, is we consistently want to make sure that people are available or that people are aware of the availability of senior and legacy home repair grants through the HUBS program, but also through some of our state resources. If you do have folks who are either a senior or a legacy homeowner, and we categorize a legacy homeowner as somebody who's been in their home for 10 plus years. They're below 80% of the area median income and are a Baltimore City homeowner, then they're eligible for potential funds, and that can be anything from HVAC repairs to roof repairs, grab bars, things that allow people to age in place. And that's a key strategy from our standpoint in allowing for support for long-time residents within communities. So just want to make sure that people continue to be aware of that resource. Additionally, and this kind of adds on to Gerard and some of the other discussions around mental health, is we've partnered with Mosaic Community Services to offer mental health first aid trainings free to the community. Those are now being offered virtually. And essentially, it's a 2-hour self-study and then a 5.5-hour instructor-led course that allows all folks to better understand mental health and psychiatric disorders, and provides the tools and the steps to refer people appropriately. So we've been offering this to small businesses, security staff, housing facilities, community centers, and now want to make sure that community residents have access to that foundational training as well. So if that's something that the community association or different community partners are interested in, we can absolutely help coordinate a mental health first aid training in Harwood. We've seen it actually literally save lives. We've had a couple different testimonials where people were able to refer folks who were struggling with suicidal thoughts, and in many cases have had staff and partners refer folks to mental health providers rather than call the police. So I think it's, it has a lot of different benefits from a social perspective, and also from a perspective of just, helping to support people through mental health crises. And then lastly, I just want to say, again, we try to make sure that there are tools available for folks, whether it's rehabilitation projects like Rob, or commercial projects, like JuiceWorks. I know my colleague Jack has worked with Matt and is working with Deb and Ed on My Mama's Vegan currently, I believe, and Bottoms Up Bagels and all those different things. So if there are different capacity building ideas that you guys have, or different projects that you want to bring, into to fruition, please let us know. I think having those projects, ideas, thoughts in the pipeline allow us to be opportunistic when an opportunity arises. And so Rob's is a good example of that, where we were able to work with the state to reallocate funds on a project that hadn't been spent, but they, required that we would spend the funding quickly. So all of these ideas that you guys, have in terms of making your community, better in many different capacities, and also just, making it the community that you want to see through your vision in a community-led fashion is really inspiring. So I want to just give my hats off to you guys and keep on bringing those ideas to the forefront so that we can help provide the tools to make them happen.
Thanks, Aaron. Anybody have any questions? And I know I had a couple people that contacted me in the chat that said that they had some other things that they wanted to add. Did you?
Hey, Keith, can we talk about work groups real fast?
We're going to get there at the end.
Yeah, I guess I just want to echo, which might be exactly what Jenny's going to say, but it sounds like, we've got so many good opportunities here between the Red Bull thing, between what Aaron's talking about with CBB, with a bunch of other grant activities. Like, I think and we're already doing a lot of really cool things. So I think I'm really excited for us to seize this awesome momentum we have.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of good stuff going on, and we just need to be organized and move forward with this. Some open comments. Like I said, I think there were a couple people that contacted me in the chat that said that they had some things that they wanted to add. Yep, go ahead.
Yes, Gina. Hi, I just wanted to kind of remind people again, wait a minute, one second. To remind people again, just that the state's attorney's office is there for victims and also witnesses of crimes. So we know that with COVID, a lot of things have been happening in a lot of houses. Domestic violence, those charges are up, and there's a lot of victims and witnesses that are kind of trapped in their homes because of COVID. So the state's attorney has something, and it's something so that people can identify it faster. And it's called You're Not Alone, Together We're Stronger. So it basically is letting everyone know that there are services for people that are victims and witnesses of crimes. So we have a great victims office for people. And I think I've mentioned it before, so it's just a really good resource for people to go to if something is happening. And also, if you know something's happening, but you can't say something, there is a phone number. I put it in early into the chat, but it's 1-877-SAO for State's Attorney's Office, the number 4 and TIP. So if you know that something's going on, you can call that number and there could be some services for someone there. We can assist. I had to make some notes here. There's definitely a lot of resources for domestic violence survivors. We do know there's a spike in the cases, and there's definitely services for the victims and the witnesses. So if anybody has any questions about that, you can contact me. You can call the number and ask them some questions. But we just want people to know that you're not alone out there if you are a victim or you know someone who is a victim. And please reach out to us because these are some really trying times. And we are definitely there, and there are definitely services there for you guys, for anyone that is in need of something. I think that's it.
I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Did anybody else have any open comments? Well, the last thing I did want to cover, and Kyle kind of segued into that nicely, is we do have some work groups that we've kind of set up, and I think this is probably going to be the best way that we can really seize a lot of these opportunities is by having some kind of focused work groups that can, be the ones writing these grants and doing the different things to take advantage of these programs. We're going to share that out. I'm sure it's in the chat, and we'll also share it out through the Harwood Facebook page, and we might even send out an email about it just to kind of encourage people to sign up for that. Yeah, I think these work groups are really going to be what kind of helps drive a lot of these programs. So if you're interested in getting involved, please sign up for one of the work groups.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, we've got 4 right now. So they've kind of shifted. It sounds like, in addition to the community garden and the alley project, there's definitely an opportunity to maybe come together and start brainstorming on these grant ideas, or potentially bringing some of these cool things that people have brought together into one thing. So the form sign up will be in the chat, and we are definitely going to send out an email following up after this meeting because there's just so much.
Did anybody else have anything they wanted to add? Great meeting, everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. If the board members could stay on for just a brief moment. Appreciate everybody being on. Thank you so much.
Good seeing everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for having Juiceworks.
Good night.
Hey, Miller, did you want to talk a little bit about the demolition?
Which demolition?
The one that we needed to take a vote on.
Oh, yeah. So I was requesting that we, if Rob said it's not necessary, then I don't know if we need to do it. So Rob, what's your opinion?
Well, I mean, all I understand it from housing is that in the words of Kent Grasso, the 2 properties are to be released to the demo contractor at the end of this year, beginning of next year. He gave me the name of, the phone number of a department that handles the demo. I mean, I'm happy to call unless you think it makes more sense for an actual member of the HCA board to call.
Yeah, well, let me just give the history. So Central Baltimore Partnership is, looking at several things along Greenmount, obviously. And one of the things that has been slow to happen, those 2 houses that are just behind the 4 houses that Rob's going to be working on, they were supposed to be demoed a long time ago. And this happens across the city, and things get caught and everything. And so the idea was that HCA would send a letter to say, hey, listen, we've been patient. We have new homes coming. It's really important that these get handled. So that was the thought. And so I said, Keith, I think we should just write the letter and send it over. To say how important it is to the community that we get these taken down. And I think that, following the rules, I move that we write a letter to DHCD to stress the importance of taking down those 2 homes on 27th Street and Boone as soon as possible, knowing that they've already been cleared for demolition. I have a second from Kyle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion needed?
I don't think so.
Thanks, Miller and Rob, for moving forward on this. This is great.
Yeah.
Okay,
Keith, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
And I apologize. I think I probably should have dropped off the call.
Well, no, it's. I mean, any of our meetings are open to the public, so it doesn't matter. But so that's fine. Feel free.
So my question is kind of sort of a rhetorical one, and I guess it's a foregone conclusion that Caring Hands is going to open their.
Look, we have
business.
to, yeah. My understanding is that, they seem to have gotten all of the things that they need. I still want to understand from the agency that oversees this how they may have the permits, but like, I thought there was a process to get community input. I think I have a couple thoughts. One, I want the meeting to hear from them. And then I want to know if someone else gave them the green light. I mean, I'm just honestly, as a resident, I want to know how they have not had any interaction with the community and everything's moving forward. And they're moving fast now. So I just pinged Christina again to say, can we get this meeting as soon as possible?
Yeah, Miller, I'll follow up on that again. That thread, I went back and looked at it and it kind of just died. So I'll pick that up again and say, hey, where did this meeting go? When, what happened here?
Yeah, and I think we all just have to be aware that nobody's going to do anything for, the next 72 hours. Tomorrow is, a lot of people are out of office. The day after, everyone's going to be sitting on pins and needles. So, I mean, I would do it, but we're not going to probably get any traction, I don't think.
Miller, is that on the 14th or the 12th? Which city council person is that?
That's the 14th because it's across the street.
So can we send an email to Mary Pat and have her put some pressure on them?
She was on the thread and she said, yeah, let's get a meeting. But I also saw something where she was like, this sounds great. And I just want to go back and make sure that I understand what her true statement was. Because, yeah, okay. That's all.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair.
I think it seems like we definitely want to write this grant for the United Way neighborhood. Does anybody want to take the lead on that?
Crickets.
I honestly, I'm down to do that. I just have, I don't even have the brain to think about that right now. But yeah, let's talk about it next week, Keith. I'm down.
Yeah, I think the election's got everybody kind of fried right now. At the very least, we need to kind of inventory what alleys we're talking about and kind of figure out the footage that we're talking about and stuff like that. So I'll start working on that at the very least so that we've got the data we need, and we can, but I don't want to miss out on this opportunity, and it is kind of.
What's the timeline, Keith?
It's got to be in before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah. Let's. Yeah. I definitely am down to play a big role in that with you. So maybe we could talk like Monday next week.
Yeah,
and
I
really
got you. Yeah. We'll let the smoke clear from this election season.
I think you don't actually get a sense of like the whole Franca HQ is literally in my house. So like there's like people that are walking around all the time.
I was wondering what was going on back there.
Yeah. So yeah.
Those don't look like people that live at your house normally.
Yeah, no, they definitely don't. So yeah, no. After they've all left and we have our space back then, I will have more time to work on this, and I really want to. I think this is a really cool opportunity to scale up the LA lighting project. So
yeah. So like I said, I'll start kind of walking the alleys and figure out how many we've got that need to be done, and then maybe next week we can start working on this a little more.
Hey Kyle, quick question. I don't see the lights on. Is there an issue with something?
Somebody unfortunately like stole one of the electrical extension cords, but we were going to get a locking system. So that's okay. That'll be part of the whole new thing. But I think that's just something to learn from. So
Kyle, who did you get the lights from? Because I'm wondering if we can reach out to them and say, hey, we're doing a big project. It's for a community and we can maybe get a better price.
Got it from Jeff Bezos. I don't know if he really makes deals.
It was Amazon.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think there's a specific seller. There might be. Honestly, it's pretty affordable, so it might be.
Lighting is cheap.
Yeah, LEDs are pretty cheap at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's time. Was there anything else that you all wanted to bring up? Questions, comments from the meeting?
I gotta run, guys. I'll see you later.
Thanks, Kyle.
Guys, I'm gonna sign off too.